Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of 365 Days of Gaming. Really appreciate you taking out time to check out this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Greatly appreciated, so thank you in advance. Now, I'm a fan of tactical RPGs, right? I love developing and leveling up different characters and moving across the grid and doing all kind of stuff. So when I found out about the XCOM series, I was immediately a fan. So I want to talk to you about one of the XCOM games that I enjoyed, and that is XCOM The Bureau Declassified. Now, you thought I was going to talk about the XCOM like standard strategy games. I got you real good. But The Bureau is actually a third-person action game that definitely still has the spirit of XCOM. I know this game was definitely not a game that a lot of people who are fans of the series enjoyed, but I personally thought it was much better than people tried to make it out to be. And I enjoyed this game, so I want to talk to you about it, okay? For those of you who are unfamiliar with the XCOM games, they are games where aliens essentially have invaded Earth and you need to stop them. And you are part of a organization whose sole purpose is to rally all of the resources of the planet, different countries and whatnot. And you get together to try to, push back against the alien threat. And it's a series that was like on the PC, back in the day, and then kind of restarted in the 2010s with just the restart of the whole series and the franchise, right? So the Bureau was a way for you to see kind of the origins of the XCOM organization. But instead of doing the standard tactical RPG style that they were normally known for, they decided to do a third-person action game. And it's very, very Mass Effect-ish. Like, you can see how Mass Effect influenced a lot of games during this time, and this one being one of them. And again, not necessarily a bad thing, right? So you play Agent Carter, and you come across these different agents. You can also recruit them, and they have different abilities, different ways that they fight. Some of them are better long range, some of them are better close range. Some of them do things like make turrets. The other ones can do things like, snipe and stuff like that. So, there's definitely some variety into it. Now, it is not as in-depth as far as the different units as when you play the actual XCOM games. Because in those games, you can also get you can start using alien tech and combining them and things like that. So there's a lot more depth in that regard. But this game, is more action focused. And the combat is much more fast-paced. And trust me, we still will talk about XCOM, the actual games, later. Don't worry. But I always thought, again, this game was a game that was immediately looked at, side-eyed based on what the premise was versus people giving it a fair shake. Graphically, it's a product of its time, and everything looks pretty good. To me, again, most of the PS3 360 era games, they still look good to me today, but a lot of people act like they were, not that good looking, and I just don't get it. The models, they look fine. The backgrounds obviously are not going to be, super incredibly detailed, but you also have to look at what they were trying to go for as far as what the color schemes and things like that were in the, it's supposed to be the early 60s. So, it kind of changes what everything's supposed to look like. But yeah, you go through different levels, and in the beginning you're kind of just trying to figure out what's going on, because obviously no one is expecting an alien invasion, at least most of the people. And then as you go through and progress, you start to have different missions, and you have different characters that you come across, and people that, for good or bad, there are some decision making in the game. That was one of the things that I felt like nobody really talked about, is the fact that there are different endings that you can get in the game based on decisions that you make. So I always thought that was cool. Again, very Mass Effect-ish. And if you enjoyed the Mass Effect games, then there's kind of not a reason for you not to enjoy this game. Obviously, nowhere near the same scale, but they do stuff that Mass Effect did, like, the different, like the weapon wheel thing, and, telling people what to do and using different abilities and stuff like that. And like, your character has one of the best abilities, which is heal, because you will take damage quite easily. But as you progress, you level up, you get stronger, you get different abilities, so you can kind of customize how your character plays. And I'm always a big fan of, progressing and leveling up skills and things like that, if you've paid attention to some of the other videos and games that I've decided I wanted to show you. Now, the other thing is, obviously, it's nowhere near as long as the standard XCOM game. So, that's kind of a downer. I always like to get, as much time as I can out of games, but either way, still an enjoyable game. There's a lot of different little things you can do. You can play it, more your way, what you like doing. If you like doing like more explosions and grenades and things like that. If you want to kind of sit in the back and, snipe, you can certainly do that. Or if you, prefer to kind of run in, pull out the shotty and, have at it, you certainly can. There are different alien types. Again, not as diverse as the actual XCOM game, because again, it doesn't go as far as that. And also it's supposed to be before all of those other games. So, it kind of makes sense that it doesn't have as much depth in that regard, but still a very, very solid game and a very underrated game. And if you can find this on like PC for like $20 or so, I'm telling you, it's not a bad time. I think you'd enjoy what it has to offer. So if you are familiar with this, let me know your thoughts on it. And if you have not played it, like I said, check it out. As always, I appreciate you letting me reminisce with you. Y'all have fun. Y'all be safe. Peace.